Welcome to Private Club Radio, your weekly source for industry education, news and discussion. Broadcasting from Tampa, Florida, ladies and gentlemen, here is your host, Gabriel Aloisi.
Hey, here we are again. This is episode 238 of Private Club Radio, which means for 238 weeks straight, there's been a podcast for you to listen to. And for me, it's been a wonderful thing, and it's been a very difficult thing. I don't think I've ever been consistent like I have been with this show, with anything else in my life for that matter. 238 times doing the same thing without missing it, without taking a break, without taking a vacation, without taking a week off. I can't think of anything else that I've done that consistently other than maybe my marriage. And there's been a thought that I've been pondering lately that's really helped me get through some difficult times. And that is the subject of impermanence. And I think it's a really important lesson for us all right now during the COVID-19 situation, with all the unrest that's happening in the world, with all of the change that's happening in the world. For me, some things being consistent, it makes me feel stable. It makes me feel secure. You know, I get up and the sun rises every day, and I take my drive to work, and I drink my morning coffee. And that routine gives you and me and all of us who go through that shared experience some sense of stability and whatnot. Now, well, of course, when something like COVID-19 happens and your world gets completely shaken up, then you lose that entire sense of control, of stability, and all those things that make us feel normal, I guess, for lack of a better word. So, like all of you, it's been a tough 6 months or so here in 2020. For the most part, let's say 5 months, both business-wise, personally, with being disconnected from people for the most part has been very difficult. And there's been a lot of days lately I just did not want to do this podcast. And reading a book, I can't remember the guy who wrote it, but the Lesson of Impermanence, that things change, has really helped me lately. It's helped me get over some maybe anxiety levels, stress levels that were happening, because good, bad, indifferent, the situation will inevitably change. Whether it takes 5 years, 75 years, 500 years, at some point, things will change. Or whether that takes 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds. The pain you're in now, or the discomfort you're in now, or the joy or the happiness or any emotion is ultimately just a moment in time, a dot on the spectrum. So thinking about that, there's a number of things I want to talk about today. First of all, the fact that the struggle that we're all going through here is eventually going to subside. There's going to be a vaccine. There's going to be a cure, or whatever you want to call it. There's going to be a way to manage what we're going through now, and things will get back to some semblance of normalcy. So there's one instance. The other thing is the golf business and the private club business, because of golf, has really thrived during this whole process. My fear, though, is that people are taking their foot off the pedal a little bit. The leadership at a lot of private clubs is flouting how great golf is and how great their clubs are attracting more golfers and things like that. And while that's absolutely 100% true, I also don't think that you should rest on your laurels, because that also is impermanent. This is going to change. For a lot of reasons. I mean, it can change because, people are going to find other activities they can do other than golf. They're going to, which has been the pervasive shift anyways in culture. Now, I could be completely wrong. We could have a big flock to golf, and that's honestly, me, I'm a golfer. That's what I hope to see. But things will open back up once things get back to that semblance of normal. Will people still want to play golf in the same numbers they want to play now? Will it be the escape that it is right now? The point is, you can't rest on your laurels or your past successes. So that's one way impermanence is really applicable to what we're all going through right now as well. Now, for me personally, I really believe that we're going to see a huge shift in consumer behavior or member behavior, as it were. And something I've been talking about for a long time. You've heard it on this show. You've heard it when I speak at conferences and books I've written, blog posts I've put up there. But I really feel that right now is such an important moment in time, such an incredible opportunity that I just don't want you to waste it. And I don't want to waste it in my own life and in my own business. And I don't want you to waste it in your business of running a private club. Because this is a chance we've got. It's really a gift when you think about it. We've got a chance to really rethink and reimagine what we've been doing for the past 10, 20, 30, 50 years in our businesses. You've probably seen me come up with new ways to help educate people, new services to provide. Last week I talked about the Club Talent Hub, a way to promote virtual events at your club. I've come up with an online courses, the Membership Marketing Academy, so that since you can't see me live, you could at least take a course and get that information. So I've had to pivot, and I'm sure you've had to pivot. You've had to come up with all sorts of things. We've seen amazing things be developed by clubs. I've seen, clubs create their own pantries where people could order toilet paper and essential supplies and certain foods they couldn't get at the store. What an amazing thing. I've seen clubs come up with drive-in movie theater concepts where members would drive in. I've seen drive-through Easters. I've seen a lot more virtual engagement, whether that's member mixers being hosted online. I've seen Denny Corby, the magician, perform, and a lot of other performers. Martin Cody from Cellar Angels give virtual wine tastings. And those are amazing things. Those are things that I really hope will persist past this. Again, that's the gift we're getting. This is the chance to experiment and to test a new concept that you would never have had that leeway to test before. You wouldn't have had board approval, or the membership would not have allowed you to try some of these things. That's a really amazing gift we've got right now. So this is something I've been talking about again for years, but I really think that some of the things that we're developing now need to persist a little longer as we make this shift, again, culturally, and what society is moving towards. Let me cut to the chase here. I believe that in the next few years, sooner than later, we're going to actually see virtual club memberships as a thing. I think virtual club memberships will be a category in the very near future. I believe it for a number of reasons, and I'm going to play a little clip from my class on the 7 ways to attract and retain members, my online class. I'm going to play a little clip to explain to you what I think is going to happen and why I think it's going to happen. Here we go. Shift number 7 is that human beings, our culture craves connection. And that's why I am so excited for the prospect of private clubs in today's day and age, because nobody does it better. Nobody provides more opportunities for that community, for that connection than private clubs. So I want you to think, this is your homework, how can your members experience the club without walking through the doors? Now, believe it or not, this has been in my presentation for the last 2 years, but now more than ever, after we saw the pandemic, after we saw the COVID-19 crisis, and everything went virtual, how important this really is. But I've been saying this again for years, that people are moving their lives more online, and your members are traveling. Even if there wasn't a pandemic, even if that stuff didn't happen and we didn't move to more of a virtual culture, it was already happening because you've got members at your club that are business people, they're businessmen and women, they're traveling, they can't be at the club when maybe you've got a really important lecture or a magician, or maybe they're on a family vacation and the kids were dying to see the clown or the Easter bunny. And you can provide that virtually through some sort of live stream. You could have a private Facebook members group where you live stream some of the club events to that you have to be a member to access. You can do all sorts of creative things virtually. And again, we have to now. This is now a must. I have an American Express Platinum card, and every single month, American Express tells me about some of the features and benefits of that card that I probably forgot about. Maybe I have $200 in airline baggage credits every year. I've got $15 in Uber credits every month. Now they're doing something with my phone bill where they actually give me back $10 or $15 a month on my T-Mobile cell phone bill. They do all sorts of emails, and that reminds me why I value my membership. Remember I said just a second ago that people leave clubs, people resign from their clubs because they feel like they're not getting the value, they're not using it. Well, that's why it's incumbent on you to make sure that they know the value, they're aware of the value, all the value that they can have without even walking through the club. If I don't even use my American Express card to pay for a purchase, I'm still getting value because I have all of these benefits. And that is so important. So, what can you do? How can you do this? You could literally send out an email, an onboarding series to every new member to tell them, hey, here are the reciprocal opportunities you have as a club member. Here are the different services that are available to you. Here are the different personal trainers or coaches or professionals that we have that you can use at the club. Send a 12-week series to onboard them. If you've ever downloaded a piece of software nowadays, you get a 12-week or a step-by-step onboarding series. You should be doing that for your members. And you should be reminding your existing members, not even the new members, but the existing members, of some of the things that they might have forgotten about. Remind people what they have, and you're going to retain them a lot longer. So I hope you enjoyed that presentation on the 7 cultural shifts affecting all clubs. If you can learn to enact those 7 things in your club, I promise you're going to engage more members, you're going to retain more members, and you're going to attract more members for your club. All right, so there you have it. That's a clip from the masterclass that's available for you at the Membership Marketing Academy. Would definitely recommend you check out the rest of that course. It's probably going to be very, very useful for clubs here moving into the next year and getting through all of the craziness we're going through. This will help shed a little light on it. You can get those classes at privateclubradio.com/academy. As usual, I'll put a little link to that in the show notes. But those are my thoughts on why I think virtual memberships we may start to see them pop up. And, you know, again, it's just another one of those things. People might say, well, why would we ever want a virtual membership? You know, people want to see people in person. People want to interact on a personal level. Yes, I agree. I 100% agree. But there's also the next generations coming behind us that live their lives pretty much online. Their heads are stuck in a telephone or a mobile device. And really all of our faces are stuck in front of a mobile device. And it's just the way human nature is going. That's the impermanence. What we think is normal now will not be normal in 5 or 10 years. And until you understand that, till you and I accept that, we're going to go through a lot of pain and struggle because we're always going to be fighting against the change that's inevitably coming. And that's not where you want to be. You want to be the person who knows what's coming down the road, who can look around the corner and see what's happening. That's what this show I've tried to do with this show for you give you a peek of what's around the bend. And if I did that for you, then I guess I did my job. Now, maybe you see this coming after all we've talked about today, or maybe you don't, but it's time for me to finally say that I don't know what day it'll be, and I don't know what Monday will come, but there's going to be a Monday pretty soon where there's not going to be a Private Club Radio podcast. It's going to be hard for me because it's my routine. It's probably going to be hard for you, the listener, the people who have supported this show. For 5 years. Didn't think I was going to get choked up talking about this, but my plan is to get us to 250 episodes. It's just one of those things. 250 is like a round number. So let's enjoy the next 12 we've got together.
Private Club Radio is brought to you by Concert Golf Partners, helping to preserve and enhance private golf and country clubs. Visit concertgolfpartners.com to learn more about the recapitalization process.